and welcome to the nightly Nuge. We're going to call this debunking week.
Yes, let's debunk.
So on Monday, we talked about your relationship with the Rolling Stones and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Rolling Stone magazine. Difference between the Rolling Stones are my heroes, but Rolling Stone magazine has turned into a leftist propaganda rag.
Point well taken. And yesterday we talked about the lies that they put out about you and the Native Americans. And if you didn't listen to those 2 days, just go back and re-listen it, or listen if you haven't heard it. Today, I want to talk about Courtney Love. Boy. Ted, I've read it. We've talked about it. I mean, one of the common lies about you is that you somehow violated a young Courtney Love. I'd like you to tell the Ted Nuge. This is disturbing, right? Because I know where you fall on this issue. It's a disturbing allegation. Well, is there any truth to it?
I've never met Courtney Love. She was on the Howard Stern show and claimed that there was a sexual relationship, not unlike Monica and Bill. I've never met Courtney Love. Why? Well, we all know why she would lie like that, because she's been so stoned and so brain dead for so long.
Oh, wait. Let me stop you. Wait. You've never met her?
I've never met her. I have proof that I didn't have any relationship with Courtney Love because I have both of my arms and I've never had rabies. The point being is that she's a horrible human being. She was on heroin while she was pregnant. Now that allegedly she did heroin, but she is a horrible, horrible human being because she dedicated her life to being uncomfortably dumb with the drugs and the alcohol abuse, even while she was pregnant with her child. But why she would, again, I don't care why, because she has no mind, she has no soul. I've never met the woman. I have no desire to meet the woman, and I've never had a relationship with an underage girl except when I was underage. These kinds of allegations are so cruel, so false, so hateful. Even when I did Behind the Music on VH1, they asked a question on filming me. Well, I understand you like the younger women. And I went, no, I prefer old, wrinkled grandmas. What man doesn't like women, and what man doesn't like really healthy, younger women? Now, Shemaine's 15 years younger than I am. We've been married for 34 years. Then during the editing, here's what they did. They changed the question to, we understand you like underage girls. And that's that VH1. That's that leftist, Marxist, communist, liberal, Democrat, hateful leftist organizations that brought about cancel culture before there was such a term as cancel culture. They hate me because I was for 29 years, I was on the board of directors of the National Rifle Association. I've always promoted the Second Amendment and self-defense and God, family, country, law and order, Constitution, Bill of Rights, work ethic, the man in the arena, the American dream, being the best that you can be. And the left so hates me for promoting all the positive, beneficial attributes of the human experience that they have to lie. I did not dodge the draft. I never...
Well, I'm going to ask that question about the draft, but I want to bring up one other parallel, Ted. Remember when President Trump sat down with Leslie Stahl?
Yes.
Okay. And then when the Trump team ultimately put out the full interview, it was very clear that they manipulated questions and answers to fit their narrative, not the truth. And so you're telling me that's what happened to you with VH1.
That's exactly what happened. And even what is the historical colloquialism when a woman is when you break up with a woman, there's no wrath like a scorned woman, or
and that's morphed into Me Too.
Yes. Well, the point being is that I was with a young lady, Paley Massa, who was on the VH1 thing and claimed that her mother signed her over to me. That never happened. Why?
Tell me about that, because you hear this one all the time. Give the backstory to that and tell the real truth.
I met Paley, and it was not only was it not a one-night stand, but we were together for 9 years. But then we separated in 88-ish, in 87 and 88, she went back to California. Her mother never signed her over to me. I never adopted her. It's morphed into an accusation. Nuge adopted a 12-year-old to have sex with. What a lie. What a nasty, hateful, ridiculous lie. I've never adopted anybody in my life. Paley was 18 when she moved in with me, and we were together for 9 years, but then we kind of drifted apart, and she went back to California. I came back from the 88 European tour, and I had vowed that it would be a no-woman hunting season. I wasn't going to see any of my girlfriends during the hunting season. Then I went and did a radio show in Detroit, and in walked Shemaine Dizelle. Well, so much for vowing off women for the hunting season. So Shemaine and I connected. We had a wonderful dating maneuver where she did care about my credentials. Not that credentials matter. I was trying to be a gentleman, which I'm really good at. We got married 4 months later, and we've been together now for 34 years. So a woman scorned will lie. And
so there is no truth to the story that you adopted Paley.
Never adopted.
There's no truth that the mother signed her over to you.
No, that is
but when you talk about
absurd.
I know.
By the way, I got to tell you, there is a story of a very famous rock and roll, and I don't have to hide names, but Steven Tyler admitted in his book, and he is currently being sued because a young girl at the age of 14 did get signed over to Steven Tyler, who I love and admire. He's a monster of musical force to reckon with, and he's a gentleman. He's a great man. But we could get into the gory details of the power of rock and roll with the female species and the access via the power of rock and roll. And Steven Tyler is a sexual being. I'm a sexual being.
Yeah, and I get that. I understand the rock and roll. I've been.
Steven did adopt a 14-year-old. He did adopt her.
But regardless of these other allegations out there, what I want to deal with today is you're telling me that there's no truth to the Paley story.
The truth is the story that I just told you. I never adopted anybody. Her mother never turned her over to me. I met her mother, and we had nice meals, and she was a nice lady. But Paley moved in when she was 18, and we were together for 9 years.
And no truth to the Courtney Love story.
No, I've never met Courtney Love.
But yet, Ted, people say this. I see it on our social media when we do something conservative. We'll get all these things that, Ted is done this. It's documented. He did this with Courtney Love and he did this with, and they say them like it's an absolute. But there's obviously your side of the story is there is absolutely no truth to it yet. That never gets told. I hope our listeners will share this. Get out on social media and say there is absolutely no truth. Push back. And it's not just really you, Ted. This is what's happening to conservative people everywhere.
Yes.
I mean, I've heard them about me. I am the most staunch pro-organized labor, pro-worker human being, yet I'm vilified now in some union circles because I hang around with conservatives like you and Donald Trump Jr. It's the left pushing a narrative against Donald Trump for things that he never did. And honestly, Ted, you are the tip of the spear of someone who's been wrongfully accused. And I appreciate you debunking these two things because tomorrow night I want to take on another topic with you. And that's how you dodged the draft. Yeah. Or did you? We'll hear that tomorrow night right here on the Nightly Nuge.
And if you people want to stand up celebrating the U.S. Constitution's 236th birthday, go to tednugent.com because this is what the founding fathers stood for and wrote down in the U.S. Constitution. tednugent.com.